Hey, welcome back to the Ping Pong Flix Show. My name is Chris Wong. This is episode 553 of the Ping Pong Flix Show. Today has been a whirlwind day. It's been completely nuts all since this morning, or at least my morning in this case, 6 a.m. for me. But I guess it started around maybe like 9 or 10 in the Pacific Standard Time. But essentially, a Monday morning is crazy for Hollywood. But let's start off with this. I would like to say, rest in peace, Mr. Joel Shumacher. Unfortunately, he did not live past today, and I want to, say rest in peace to him. 80 years old. Now has made some decisive Batman films, right? Batman Forever, Batman and Robin. And yes, there's also talk of the Schumacher cut for Batman Forever and so on and so forth. I like to say when I watched them in theaters when I was very young, I did enjoy them very much. Today, I see them as fun little films. Batman and Robin is more like a new reinvented Adam West Batman. And if you look at through that lens, if you look at through that viewpoint, you can probably get a lot of enjoyment out of that. But in any case, rest in peace, Joel Schumacher. I wish you well, and I wish your family well as well. All right. Well, the next thing is more Batman ish, but kind of crazy. Kind of crazy. Like things you probably said, this is totally from somewhere else, like out of left field. But this is what actually happened today. Michael Keaton is currently in talks to play Bruce Wayne in the Flash movie. Yeah, Michael Keaton. Batman 1989, Michael Keaton, and also in Batman Returns, Michael Keaton. That's right. Where is this coming from? Well, this is coming from The Wrap. This is an exclusive from The Wrap. Humberto Gonzalez. Batman Returns. Michael Keaton in talks to play Bruce Wayne in the Flash movie. The plot will introduce general audiences to the idea of the multiverse, one of the core concepts underpinning DC Comics. After nearly 30 years, Michael Keaton is in talks to return to the role of Batman to appear alongside Ezra Miller in Warner Brothers' upcoming movie, The Flash. The Wrap has learned exclusively. Talks with Keaton are in the very early stages. It is far from a sure thing and can go either way. No details are currently available about how big or small Keaton's role is. That plot will introduce general audiences to the idea of the multiverse, one of the core concepts underpinning DC Comics. For the non-fanboy set, the multiverse refers to a shifting number of alternate universes that coexist within the larger reality depicted in DC Comics. Originally created to explain various contradictory changes the company's characters experienced over decades. It allows several different versions of the same characters to simultaneously exist and occasionally interact. Matt Reeves' upcoming The Batman will not be affected, and Robert Pattinson's Bruce Wayne is still viewed as the future of the franchise. Viewed by who? One notable component is the idea that in every single universe, Earth is always home to a larger than normal number of superpowered heroes and villains whose actions often galaxy-spanning consequences. DC has been planting the seeds of the multiverse for the last several years. It was introduced in the CW's Arrowverse franchise with a Supergirl and Black Lightning expressly established as being in separate universes from Arrow, The Flash, and Legends of Tomorrow, but most recently during the CW crossover event, Crisis on Infinite Earths. Movies such as Wonder Woman and Justice League were confirmed as part of the Arrow multiverse when the Barry Allen, played by Grant Gustin on the CW, encountered Miller's Barry Allen. That's interesting the way to word that. And while it's still not known how the multiverse concept will play out in other future DC Comics movies, it certainly expands the available options for Warner Brothers as it develops them. Just in case it wants to find a way to pit Joaquin Phoenix's Joker against, say, the current version of Aquaman. Okay. Keaton first played Batman Bruce Wayne in Tim Burton's 1980 blockbuster of the same name. And then, he kind of goes on over more of Michael Keaton's Batman. But the Flash will disregard the latter two entries entirely and explore what Keaton's version of Batman has been set up to since we last saw him. Now, he's talking about they're not going to explore Batman Forever and Batman and Robin. Loosely based on the 2011 DC Comics crossover event Flashpoint, previously announced as the film's title at Comic-Con 2017, the story sees Ezra Miller's Barry Allen travel back in time to prevent the death of his mother. The result? Allen inadvertently creates another universe protected by Michael Keaton's Batman, now 30 years older. Of course, Andrew Muschietti is set to direct The Flash. Latest draft from the script from Birds of Prey writer Christina Hodson. Barbara Muschietti, Andrew Muschietti's sister, and Michael Disco are producing. So it's The Flash is eyeing a Q1 2021 production start subject to COVID-19 protocols. Okay. So this is a lot of material to write, right? This is a lot of things. And you know what? When you read a lot of these things, there's a lot of opinion being found in here. And I think Humberto Gonzalez himself kind of sheds a little light on what he actually knows and what other things in here he said is what he is speculating. These are the facts. The movie is called The Flash. It stars Ezra Miller, eyeing a Q1 2020 shoot subject to COVID-19 protocols. Michael Keaton in talks to appear. That is it. This right here, he even though he made a gigantic article that said all this stuff, right? These are the facts. There's only 4 facts, and only if the fourth one is something different. Michael Keaton in talks to appear. And talks to appear as what? As who? They're thinking it's Michael. Well, if Michael Keaton's in talks to appear, would it be Batman? I mean, the dude's almost 70 years old. I think he's like 68 or something. The dude's pretty, up there. So it'd be pretty cool if he came in as like a Batman Beyond Batman or something like that. But it is interesting that he stated this right now. And from what other people have stated as well, that the news is this. The news is this. Michael Keaton's in talks to play Bruce Wayne. Which gets me to my next topic, where a lot of people, scoopers and things like that, journalists, fans, myself, we're trying to find the context for this, the context for Michael Keaton in talks to appear. What does this mean? This could be a positive or it could be a negative. But let's go through some of the context these people are talking about, what they're discussing about this. Okay, so what's interesting is that there's still a little bit more to that story, because we were just talking about Jeffrey Dean Morgan, right? Is being eyed for the role in Flash. This was yesterday, right? This was yesterday. This was a rumor. I talked about it as well. Jeffrey Dean Morgan could return as Thomas Wayne, and there are some things like that. There is some clarification on this, and that is to clarify, JDM is being eyed for Thomas Wayne Flashpoint Batman, while Michael Keaton is in talks for Bruce Wayne Batman. They are different characters in different universes, which is part of the Flash story. I don't know what they know, but that does make sense, because Michael Keaton was never a Thomas Wayne Batman. Michael Keaton is connected to Bruce Wayne Batman. So it's Bruce Wayne Batman, right? So it's not Thomas Wayne, And what's interesting about this even further is that Hillary Burton Morgan, Jeffrey Dean Morgan's wife, just gave 3 hearts retweeting this as if it's supposed to mean something. Is this hope for her? Is this, well, I love this, I would love this, this is right? Like, there's so much context you can pull, or none at all, from 3 glittery hearts. But then you get Thomas Polito, who was the original journalist and scooper for that Jeffrey Dean Morgan news, retweeted this and gave a wink. and gave a wink. So there's so many different interpretations of this right now, and it will honestly fucking confuse you. I get it. I'm totally like, what's going to happen to this? Who's going to happen to that? And that's not all. There is so much more. Grace Randolph decided to tweet this out. Look, you might not want to believe it, but here's what we know regarding Michael Keaton in The Flash. He's playing Batman. He's an older character that could show up in other movies. So there's two little facts. Playing Batman, or he played Batman and we're putting that context on him. I don't know. That's Thomas Wayne, duh. So in her mind, she's thinking, well, if it's an older Batman, it's an older character and he's playing Batman, it's in the Flash movie that's possibly Flashpoint, that's gotta be Thomas Wayne, right? What's more likely? Fan favorite Oscar winner Michael Keaton is returning to play Thomas Wayne Batman, or there will be two Batman in the Flash movie, and Warner Bros. will open the Pandora's box of other verses like Burtonverse after all the Snyder Cut drama. Okay, well, that's her point of view. Let's continue to see what else she puts on. She speculates some more. A lot of speculation regarding Multiverse of Madness, Flashpoint style movie. Warner Bros. Already referenced Back to the Future while developing The Flash 2022. Barry likely wake up in one new timeline with Thomas Wayne as Batman. Barry fixes timeline. Thomas likely comes back with him. That's it. Okay, what's going on? All right. Look, Michael Keaton as Thomas Wayne in Flashpoint is my theory. I've presented a very, very solid case. Jeffrey Dean Morgan never closed deal back in December. Role is open. Warner Bros. Had no comment on any of today's reports. It's all speculation. Keaton could even pass. We'll see. And then something happened, right? I'll show you the other viewpoint in a bit. But Grace Randolph says, wow, now I'm seeing a claim from the rap reporter. That's Humberto Gonzalez, right? That Thomas Wayne isn't even in Flashpoint, also known as the Flash movie. Laugh, laugh, laugh. F it. Here's the actual casting grid role listed back in December 2019. I'd say the role moved beyond development. Okay, so this is a casting grid she says she has. Nora Allen, open, circling. Oh, there it is. Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Okay, and the Ray Fisher. So this is probably where people have got their Ray Fisher from. Strong supporting cyborg, right? So this would indicate it seems like Flashpoint. Even over here, Bruce Wayne's father, after Barry alters the timeline, it is Thomas that survives the gun down in the alley. Thomas takes up the Batman cape and cowl, but has much more brutal ways of getting the job done. Sounds like Flashpoint to me. So she's got that. She's got that information, and that's what she has, right? And then she puts out a poll. I guess she's trying to find out what everybody's thinking about. Humberto Gonzalez rebuttals. Okay, let's go. His rebuttal to her idea that Michael Keaton is playing Thomas Wayne. Ma'am, he is playing a much older Bruce Wayne from the Burtonverse, not Thomas Wayne. Please stop spreading false information. And that's why she said there's a certain rap reporter is coming back at him. So, and then in regards to the character, what is that? Oh, the casting grid, right? He says this, respectfully, that so-called grid was a fake plan to keep folks like you off the scent. Congrats, you just got played. Now, interesting about this, because I've heard from other people that that's not true. This is a real casting grid, but it was back in December of 2019. So there's that as well, right? So that's Humberto Gonzalez. I know you're like, what? What's going on? Sean O'Connell added something that's really interesting. He said this, we were in London for Birds of Prey, Warner Brothers. I don't know, I think it's a London shoot, and randomly ran into Andy Muschietti outside our hotel. We chatted, and he mentioned working on Flashpoint. I asked him, is Jeffrey Dean would return? He smiled and said, we actually have a different idea. So there's also that part of the aspect, a little more context, if you will, if you can add this to context and figure out for yourself what exactly is going on. I'm going to add you some of these. Daniel Rickman, who's Daniel RPK, he is a scooper. He gets a hold of a lot of this casting and seems to know a lot of things. He's a scooper. He knows these things. He trades them with the trades and stuff like that. He wrote this. Now that it's out, Michael Keaton to replace Ben Affleck as the DCEU's Batman will co-star in Flashpoint. Okay, so that's interesting. He put that Michael Keaton to replace Ben Affleck as DCU's Batman will co-star in Flashpoint. He also said this: Pattinson's trilogy will be its own standalone thing, like Joker, not part of the DCU. That's something I've been saying for a long time. This is even more added to that. That Pattinson trilogy will be its own standalone thing, like Joker, not part of the DCU. Okay, so we got that cleared up. At least, you know, many more viewpoints upon that matter. This is interesting. He retweeted Boris's Kit. Boris Kit is the Hollywood Reporter, and the Hollywood Reporter has his own kind of speculation. He says, if these talks make, sources say Keaton could end up playing Batman in a mentor capacity, a bit like Sam Jackson's Nick Fury, and appear in multiple movies. Batgirl is one of the possible projects. So that's another more story to this, which makes it even more confusing, if you will, right? Now, he has a correction here to that Michael Keaton replaced Ben Affleck. He says, correction, in early talks. So still a chance this might not happen. Would you like to see Keaton back in the role for the DCEU? So there's even more from that. And that's pretty much it for this much. You know, he also dismisses Grace Randolph's. Grace Randolph is at it again, I see. So, well, what can we get from this? There are a couple things that I want to clear up that I think is something to think about. And we go back to the original. Where is the original? The one fact that is looming around this whole thing. Michael Keaton in talks to play, right? Now, if you really think about it, there are certain people saying, well, this is the line here that's the exclusive. This is the sentence that is getting people, you know, kind of speculating on it, you know, trying to put context to this line. And for some others, like even Umberto himself, he said the fact was only this much. Michael Keaton's in talks to play in the Flash movie without even the Bruce Wayne part. So we're trying to make context out of this, right? But let's play around with it. I'm not afraid to play around with the context of the matter. Let's say they're right. Let's say Michael Keaton is indeed in talks to play Bruce Wayne in the Flashpoint movie. So hereby saying that he is Bruce Wayne, he is Batman. I want to disregard the Thomas Wayne as well, because that doesn't really make sense. But Bruce Wayne, okay, he did play Bruce Wayne before. He did play Batman. There was that lost newspaper article that was supposed to be in Crisis where it shows the Bruce Wayne Batman. Not Bruce Wayne. Michael Keaton's Bruce Wayne marries Selita Kyle. Things like that to add context to that scene. But hey, it's the multiverse, right? It's the multiverse. Infinite amount of universes, and they could borrow things from different universes but change it at the same time. What do I mean by that? Meaning, if Ezra Miller goes back in time, changes it, he splits of the timeline, he goes through these different multiple universes or whatever, he could end up meaning, I don't know, a Batman Beyond Michael Keaton, or an older 89 Michael Keaton Batman, or just Michael Keaton. Like, there's so many different aspects we can take this. But if I wanted to go nuts, and let's get nuts, let's talk about the multiverse and how this is awesome. What Jim Lee, if this is true, what Jim Lee did to plant this was this scene right here in Crisis, because Crisis essentially was the first media first type of content that Warner put out, right? DC put out there that talked about a multiverse. So they put it out there, decided to start planting seeds for that. And we got this awesome scene with Ezra and Grant Gustin sharing a scene together, and they're both Flash, both different universes. Opens that up to huge possibilities. What does that mean? Well, I think it's a great thing, right? And I'm going to share Krypton Cage's nice little graph because it gets more confusing as the graphs get bigger. So I really like this, even though I don't care if it's terrible. You know, my kids draw, you know, a lot worse than that. So, but this is good. All DC actors can be put in to any of these three categories. Now, DC Prime, what he really means is like the theatrical DC, like DCEU, like Wonder Woman, Aquaman, you know, The Flash, you know. And you got Black Label. Black Label is your Joker, your Robert Pattinson Batman. Then you got the Snyderverse, which is HBO Max, whatever it's going to be, you know, the Zack Snyder Justice League, right? So essentially, this guy over here would have, you know, this is your Ben Affleck Batman. This is your Robert Pattinson Batman. And if they're going to really play with the Michael Keaton Batman, then this could be your Michael Keaton Batman. You know, there's so many different ways. But essentially, what it is that everyone gets a sandbox, which opens up to more artistic visions, right? Everyone gives everyone access to a DC they prefer. If you don't like CW, ignore it. If you like the Snyderverse, go watch that. If you don't like the Snyderverse, you go watch DCEU, the movie verse, right? The movie one, the theatrical verse, if you will. You know, if you don't like that, and you're just like, you know what, you know, fuck all this movies and stuff like that. It's too confusing. I don't want to see how it connects to anything because everybody's been Marvel brainwashed by now. And you're like, I just want to see Robert Pattinson's Batman. You've got that option as well. No one is telling you to watch every damn thing. Every single director who says, I want to do this, they say, go ahead and do it. You can borrow from things, or you don't have to borrow from things. Essentially, if you want to create a sandbox for your own sandbox and you want to play in that sandbox, DC is telling you, go ahead. Thank you, Jim Lee. DC is telling you, go ahead. So that's the best part of it, because that means that Zack Snyder can finish his vision without being tied down to any certain canon, your canon or their canon or whoever else's fucking canon. Snyder can say, I'm just going to do what I'm going to do. This is how Batman sacrifices himself. And it's over. This is it. Everybody has their own sandbox, right? Now, Super Batsy has put out a very colorful one that'll give you some more details. So the multiverse, right? So you got the DC Black Label up here to the top right. Joker, the Batman, Robert Pattinson's Batman, Todd Phillips' Joker, Joaquin Phoenix's Joker in the Black Label. You know, it's their own thing. They're not even connected to each other, but essentially just like their own thing, independence. Then you got like CW, Arrowverse, Flash, Supergirl, the new Superman and Lois Lane series, you know, Grant Gustin's Flash, stuff like that. Then you got HBO Max, Snyderverse, Ezra Miller's a Flash, Ben Affleck's Batman, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Then in theaters, you got these movies like The Suicide Squad, like Shazam, Flashpoint, you know, maybe Michael Keaton's going to be the Batman there. I don't know. You know, we don't know. Birds of Prey, you know. This is the one in theaters. So that's broken out that way. So if you want to watch this, you can go ahead and watch this. You can want to watch this, don't want that, you can go ahead and watch this. You know, your choice, right? Your choice. This is entering the multiverse. Enter the multiverse. And I mean to change that headline earlier, but whatever. So we're entering the multiverse here. This is like you imagine if you're going into a bakery, a bakery, you're looking at all the different cakes, and you choose the chocolate one. I know all my analogies comes down to food for some damn reason. But you're looking at cakes and you're like, I want that cake. I don't want the DABASH cake. I don't want the the blueberry cake. Everyone, but someone else comes in and says, I hate the DABASH cake, but I like the blueberry cake. So what does that mean? Everybody can have their cake and eat it too. That's fantastic. It's a DC buffet, like Lewis and Teno actually said today. DC buffet, man. You don't have to eat everything. Eat what you want to eat and be happy with it. So Scott McKellen, he put out a bigger one, a lot more confusing. But essentially, there's a lot of multiverses, a lot more worlds. It's infinite possibilities, meaning that we don't have to be tied down to any one thing. You can pick and choose. The directors can pick and choose. Essentially, it kind of frees up people from being tied down to any given narrative, any given actor, actress. If they don't want, if they said, hey, I want Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman, but essentially it's not really connected to, the Snyderverse, is that okay? And they're like, that's okay. Fine. Well, who says that one multiverse couldn't borrow aspects, including the likeness of another universe, right? There's infinite possibilities. Is your mind blown yet? The possibilities, the potential is endless. Also a great way to just explain away certain aspects of one movie to the next, Yeah, it's kind of lazy in that way, but DC has this tool in their belt to explain away why is Henry Cavill Superman still is a good guy in here, but he's like an evil guy in here, or so why does he not have a kid here? Why is he doing this? Well, Henry Cavill is Superman, but his Superman could essentially still exist beyond different multiverses, while the situations around that character is different, right? That's what the multiverse is. There's a lot of possibilities, a lot of potential, and ultimately a lot of things to get excited about, because and essentially, if you are a Snyder fan, no one's gonna stop him from making his Snyderverse. No one's going to say, well, we can't have this Superman connect to this because, Superman did something here. Oh, we can't have Ben Affleck, Batman, because, well, no, fuck that. He can do whatever the fuck he wants because it's his sandbox, and you don't have to choose it if you don't want. But I'm gonna guess that a lot of people, a good amount, are maybe even much more intrigued by Zack Snyder's Justice League. So I'm looking forward to this. And like I said, all this stems from one line here. Michael Keaton in talks to play, and depending who you talk to, it actually says Bruce Wayne in the Flash movie, or Michael Keaton in talks to play in the Flash movie. So we'll see what happens. Let's see if he'll still be in talks. Let's see if it's just a cameo. He could be just a dude selling a newspaper, a no-name, as an Easter egg for people who know about the DC movies, right? Or he could have a significant role. We'll just have to wait and see. All right, guys. Well, that is it. That's all I have for tonight. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for subscribing. I'll see you next time.